Hi, I'm Stanley Bentu from First Wave TV, and this is Nuts and Bolts. In 2008, the European Union and Nigeria agreed to deepen their relationship through what they call the EU-Nigeria Joint Way Forward. Now, this agreement establishes the principles, guidelines, and priority areas for enhanced political dialogue and cooperation in the wider context of the EU's relations with the African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries. Now, areas of mutual interests and concerns for intensified dialogue include peace and security, migration, good governance and democracy, human rights, trade, and regional integration, amongst others. Now, also included are justice sector reform, support to free and fair elections, and regional cooperation. So once a year, ministers from both the EU and Nigeria meet to discuss, while other meetings at senior officials level happen even more frequently. This episode seeks to understand the nuts and bolts of the Nigeria-EU relationship, and it may surprise you just how good it is, at least at the level of government.
Overall, the priorities of our cooperation program are determined once every five years, let's say, and that is in close agreement with the government of the federal government of Nigeria, in particular the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, which is our direct counterpart. So every 5 years we, in common agreement, decide which are our priority sectors for the coming years. For instance, at this moment, under the current cycle, our main areas of work are, in the first place, economic cooperation and access to electricity. In the second place, governance, security and migration. And the third one, which is the biggest in volume, is what we call health, resilience and nutrition, of which most of the resources currently go to the northeast.
I work in a section which deals with a lot of topics. So it's called democracy, governance and migration. But in reality, we work also on human rights and gender. We also work on civil society, to support civil society and their contribution to the advancement of Nigeria. And then we also work on peace and security. We're also supporting the National Assembly currently and the political parties. And one area we want to specifically focusing in our current program is to actually help women, people with disabilities and young people to be able to participate in the political life of the country.
The European Union has robust trade relations with Nigeria and remains its largest trading partner for oil and non-oil exports.
The problem with oil is that it's a finite resource, and more significantly for the Nigerian population, it doesn't require a lot of workers. So when we talk about increased trade, we're talking here about an outlet for products that the Nigerian industries could produce. This is not really the case today. What we in the EU are trying to encourage is attracting investment into the country to widen the manufacturing base, build new industries here to create employment. With employment, you create wealth, you create jobs, you improve the standards of living. What we are beginning to see now is, with the help of European investment, startups in Nigeria. So in the dairy industry, for example, European expertise, European finance is being used to set up dairy industries here. Take, for example, the fashion industry. The Nigerians are full of fashion and style, and what is interesting here is how to channel that into products that can be marketed on the international stage.
Basically, it's about supporting the economy of Nigeria to create more jobs. And one of the preconditions for supporting the economy and the Nigerian people is to make sure they have sufficient energy to run their companies, for their homes. And there's a big lack of energy in Nigeria. So these are one of our focal areas of the EU delegation.
Fannin sana'a na ni dai matsayina na sarkin fawa ina amfani da wannan wuta na fannin sa nama komai zafi zan sa nama a cikin fridge kuma nama zai ɗauki tsawon sati ɗaya babu abin da nama yake yi amma kafin zuwan wannan wuta nama kwana ɗaya biyu nama ya lalace sakamakon rashin amfani da wannan sola ba ma amfani da wannan wuta kuma ba wani abu da muke sawa wanda yake sanyaya mana nama ya rike nama ya samu sanyi ba zai lalace tsawon sati guda ba.
We have a huge portfolio of projects in the area of energy. We support Nigeria with over 150 million euros. So we have support mainly in the area of renewable energies, but also a little bit of support in transmission lines.
So, and my section is the one dealing with health, water, resilience, or what we call social development indicators. And we have programs, normally we have 5 years, 6 years programming. So we have some programs on the water sector, especially in the Niger Delta, and we are working with the state. The state puts an amount of money, we put another amount, is 30 from the states of the Niger Delta, 70 from us. And we are supporting what we have calculated is more than 10 million people. In terms of maternal mortality is another issue, and we have programs working with mothers in the Northeast to address their nutrition status, because we know that if the mother is malnourished, the baby is malnourished.
Our regional cooperation is under the whole umbrella of the EU's support and partnership with West Africa. Over the past budgetary period, we're looking at spending over a billion euros in West Africa to support them and do that in a model of partnership. We do that with ECOWAS and UMOA. Indeed, we are working on the peace and security. We're working on regional economic integration. We're working in supporting their capacity more generally. We set out 3 pillars and also one non-focal sector or non-focal institutional support area of priority. So the first pillar is on peace and security and stability, and the second is then on regional economic integration, and that spans both trade facilitation but also transport governance, energy governance, a wide range there to make sure that West Africa becomes a better integrated bloc. And then the third is linked to resilience, health, agriculture as well.
The EU needs an effective ally in ECOWAS to address the increasing number of security challenges in the Sahel, such as those currently present in both Mali and Niger. Nigeria is instrumental to ensuring ECOWAS plays an effective role in maintaining peace and security, and has shown itself as capable of doing so through the past interventions in Liberia and Sierra Leone. But it's a stark contrast as the West African country faces great challenges with security and the economy at home. So how can this relationship work even better in Nigeria's interest? Let me know in the comment section below what you think, and if you enjoyed this video, like it and subscribe to this channel. Ring the bell so that you would be notified of any latest videos or latest editions of Nuts and Bolt.
Preview.